Nice sweatshirt, Adam.
Oh, dude, isn't it? I think this color looks good on me.
I think that color looks good on a lot of people.
It looks good on me, I can tell you that much.
That was such a way to not compliment me. I'm gonna.
I can't see you very well. I'm going to be honest. So
I feel like I know that we've talked about this before, but I really feel like Joanna does not invest in our relationship. Just real clear now.
Right.
That'll be coming up in her review. Anyways,
year-end reviews coming soon, folks. We'll do it on the pod
real soon. You guys ready to? Oh, if people who watch The Cold Open would like to see a review happen on the pod, please email podcast@VinePair.com. You ready to start the show? No, let's do it.
Let's do it.
From VinePair's New York City headquarters, I'm Adam Teeter.
And I'm Joanna Sciarrino.
And in Seattle, Washington, I'm Zach Jabal.
And this is the VinePair podcast. All right, y'all, let's jump in. We're like weeks removed from Next Wave. We have other things people should have consumed. I mean, there was an after hours, so.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't get shit for talking about after hours because after hours happened on my birthday.
That's true.
And I was here celebrating my birthday at after hours. This is my commitment.
Right.
Okay, cool.
So,
but I'd like to hear what you also drank on your birthday. I mean, well, when you celebrated your birthday. But yes, please, Joanna, you go first as the most recent birthday person.
Thank you.
Guys, Joanna's 45. She doesn't look it at all.
Thank you.
No, she's much younger than me and reminds me often. Anyways, what have you been drinking?
So to celebrate, I had like a very low-key birthday. I'm not like a really big birthday person to begin with, but it was also like not a really big year.
I find
like.
people that are born this month are not big birthday people. Like I've
In
lots of people in like the late October, early November. Naomi also maybe is on a bit, but she's early October.
You're talking about Scorpios, basically.
Not big birthday people.
Yeah, we just secretly brood about it. We want to have bigger birthday celebrations, but nobody throws them for us. So then we harbor that.
Whatever.
Your podcast co-hosts don't even mention it on the podcast.
Yeah. Literally recording on my birthday and nobody said anything. Thanks a lot, guys.
Ugh.
Oh, fuck, we did. Oh, and I planned to, too. Oh, I'm horrible.
Adam doesn't invest enough in our relationship.
Yeah, I would say that's going to go.
You know what? You just literally trumped back at me. So I feel like that was totally deserved. That was totally deserved. I'm sorry. Well, happy birthday, Joanna. People should send her things.
Thanks, yeah.
If Krug wants to send a bottle or something.
Pappy Van Winkle, perhaps.
Yeah.
Those fine
Joanna
folks.
would appreciate it. She'll ask people.
I'll appreciate it more this time, I think.
People can come by for a pour.
Yes.
I don't know.
Joanna, what did you actually drink? We still haven't gotten that.
Fine. I just was enjoying the banter. Okay.
Yeah. We went to a restaurant that's kind of local to us, and I had a rosewater and saffron martini, which was it was a Vesper because it had gin, and it was very light. I have thoughts about martinis.
Yes, go.
That I've been wanting
share this with me, and
to
I
get
like
off
this
my
take.
chest.
I like this take. Go.
My thoughts are, well, also after listening to the last episode of Cocktail College, which aired today, the last call that Adam hosted and Tim was the guest on, Tim has, I feel like people have thoughts about martinis, like pretty strong thoughts. I think if you are planning to get a martini and you want that cocktail and then you get some like riff on a martini or whatever the bartender or the bar's riff is, and it's like it's not really a martini. It's just a martini in name. And it just doesn't hit the spot the same. Like I feel like it just doesn't meet expectations if it's not like a true vodka or gin martini.
I agree with you. I think we've talked about this editorially for the last year or so, right? Where like
with Martini Madness. We've
seen like I think some do it really well. Like I think adding flavors that are more tomatoey, vegetal, olive briny, whatever, like the Theodora Gitomato, right? They do it very well because it's still like very much, if you're someone who likes a salty, briny, dirty martini, like this delivers for you still. I think where the martini for me has sucked in the riffs are when they verge on the rosewater, the sweet, the more floral, the fruit essence, the pear, the plum.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, okay, cool. you made a lychee martini, which is not a martini. It is just in a martini glass. Like you made a crab apple martini.
Up drink.
Right. You made an up drink in a martini, in a Nick and Nora.
That maybe has gin or vodka in it.
But because the martini is popular right now, you're calling it a martini.
Yeah.
But if the martini was not popular and this was, 2019, which I know in Cocktail College, Tim kind of claims it was starting then, but it really blew up after COVID. Let's be clear. The martini, you would not call it a martini. You would have named it something else in a Nick and Nora glass.
Yeah.
Right.
And maybe someone might ask you like, oh, is this like a martini? And you might be like, oh, yeah, it's similar to a martini, but it's not a martini.
Yeah.
But now because the martini sells, they're all martinis.
Yeah. I just think if you're somebody who has strong feelings about a martini or you have your own martini that you like to make and you have expectations, like those drinks are always going to be hard. But I think for a majority of people who like don't care and they see that and they would be totally satisfied with something like that.
But here's where I have to like
push back.
Point of clarity here.
Okay.
You are someone that understands and cares about a martini, but you're not a prick. So what I mean by that is like the people that really care, all they do is order their own martini, right? So like
I don't think that makes you a prick, to be fair. I think that's
I guess what I'm trying to say is like you're not.
That's better than ordering one of these drinks and being upset about it.
But that's what I'm saying is like they would never ever order one of these drinks.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if this is their drink, it's usually the person that carries a card with their spec on it.
Yeah.
Like
no. This is like my parents. They order a very specific drink. They would never in a million years see something like our house martini or
and I guess
rosewater martini and order that.
Prick was just at the tip of my tongue. I don't know why, but like
you're particular.
If you're not. You're like you are exploratory. Like you want to see what people are doing, so therefore you order it. Then you're a little disappointed, but like I think that's why there's such a spectrum of people that drink martinis. Like there are people that take them extremely seriously, and to the point where like they will only drink them if they make them, or they know the 2 or 3 bartenders they trust to make them. Yeah. Then there are people that are like somewhat serious, and they will drink them, but they will give a spec.
Yeah.
Then there are people that like really appreciate them, but if they don't get their specific spec, they're okay with it as long as it's like a classic martini.
Yeah.
Right. And then
or they may not know their spec. I mean, I think that's part of it too.
Exactly.
Lots of people like to drink martinis, but they're like, if you said, what are the ratios? They'd be like, huh?
Yeah.
I think the second you know your ratio, you get into a little bit of like obsessive martini personality disorder, which like not that that's bad or good. It's just like there's no other drink where people clearly know their ratio, and I think it just it's a personality type to fully know your ratio.
I think drinks like that rosewater martini exist for people who don't actually particularly like martinis but want to feel sophisticated. And I think like that's where that drink works. It's for someone who wants the allure of I assume it was essentially a clear cocktail in either in a martini shell or a Nick and Nora or something that looks sophisticated in a way that, maybe the, other drinks that might have similar flavor profiles or hit similar kind of notes for folks just doesn't carry the same air of sophistication that, I'm having a martini. Yeah, maybe it's only a martini in name only, but that has mattered to people for a long time. It's part of what drove, I think, the previous martini craze, maybe off a cliff eventually, but like people wanted to borrow the sophistication of the martini.
Yeah.
I guess, this is not a martini podcast.
No.
But it just got me thinking a lot about your comment plus the last Cocktail College episode, et cetera. Like, it does have me thinking a lot about how, like, there's no other cocktail. Like, if you ask someone why they know their ratio, their answer is always, well, I don't want to have a bad martini or a martini that I don't like.
Sure.
I've had a lot of bad Negronis. I've had a lot of bad Old Fashions. I've had a lot of bad Manhattans. I've had a lot of bad daiquiris. I've also had a lot of good ones of those. I don't know my ratio. I don't go with a card. I think it's, I guess my question is like, and this is a very large philosophical one. What the fuck is it about the martini that the people that drink the martini as a personality think that they have the right to know their ratio more than any other cocktail out there? Right? We all have bad ones and good ones. It's very interesting that this drink more than any other has allowed that behavior. I don't know if it's because of the type of people it's attracted to drink it, because because again, the Manhattan is just as it literally, as Souther Teague will say, like the martini is just a white Manhattan, right? Like it's the same. It doesn't happen in the same way.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's the same. I don't agree with that actually. I know that whatever, historically it is just a white Manhattan, but if you try to mess with the ratios of a Manhattan, like that drink very quickly gets fucked up. Right?
Okay.
And it
or at
tastes
least
bad,
turns into something
which,
totally
again,
different.
It's totally different. And I think the martini, as we know it, is the only drink really, or one of the only drinks where it has so many specifications.
Right, so it's a spectrum.
We literally have an infographic of like all the ways you can order your martini. Yeah, and that's why. That's the only drink that has that, really.
But then my argument would be back to you. If that's the case, then why do so many bars even insist on having their spec of the classic martini? If a spec is a spectrum, right, then why would you not say, when someone, like, why would you not say that here, we make a classic martini, you tell us how you want it made?
Because there's so many people who don't know.
Yeah,
but then you say, here's the house spec. Yeah. Here's the house spec, but we are open to
interpretation.
Yeah, we're open to, which again, a lot of bartenders are, but I will tell you, there's a lot of bartenders that are not.
Yeah.
That are not.
I mean, I think you could write on your menu.
Respond well to that.
Right. I think you could write on your menu or something like house martini, 4 parts gin, 1 part vermouth, or however you like it, or something like that.
Well, this is literally what Vaudord has, right?
Yeah.
And martini our way, martini your way, right?
Right.
Isn't that exactly how it is on the menu?
Which I like.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Anyways, it's not supposed to be a martini podcast, but
yes. So that's what I had to celebrate my birthday, and then we had after hours, which I'm going to talk about.
Go.
With Harrison Ginsberg and Tony Giannopoulos of Overstory.
Yeah.
And that was such a great one. They had a take on a martini, which had peach and plum, and I don't actually remember all that was in it, but that was good. Not like a classic martini, but, a very wonderful drink. They had a great milk punch, which was very delicious.
That was delicious.
And God, there was one more other drink that was had sherry in it, but it was clarified, and that was also really, really good. Mm-hmm. So that was like excellent drinks there.
They made great drinks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, Overstory is doing incredible cocktails.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So very talented team. And then we had some special pours that went around the room.
We had some special pours. Yes, I had Tears of Llorona tequila. That was an extra añejo, which was really good. That was a special pour I had. We also, on Friday of Halloween, did our top 50 wines tasting. So it was really like a heavy hitter weekend for me and my birthday right through.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
What about you, Zach?
I will try and keep this relatively brief, but I'll see if the two of you can guess. I went out to lunch with some industry folks, and we had a bottle of wine. Adam, you want to guess what variety we drank?
Yeah, you drank fucking Riesling.
Of course you did. I didn't order it, although it was very good. It was a Von Vinning Trocken from, of course, Germany. Yeah. But yes, it was funny to me because it was not long after we had our conversation, and someone was like, Riesling. I was like, oh man, I'm going to have to talk about this. And it was good. No shade at the wine at all, but I was like, this is like a little bit of a... we're playing into a stereotype here, which, I'm fine with sometimes. So it was delicious. Went really well with my fried chicken sandwich. It was great.
Oh, nice.
I was happy. Anyhow, how about you, Adam?
Well, I sort of mentioned this already in the last podcast, but we took some roadies trick-or-treating, So I took a Threes Brewing Pilsner for a spin, which was delicious. Vliet.
Yeah.
That was great. So went out with that. And then some friends in Estee's like former school also came with us, and they all joined one of these like wine order services. I think Garage East is the one they joined. So they brought some wines from there. Yeah. So they all joined Garage East. So, and I'd never actually had any of the wines that Garage East sells. So tried some of those. Okay. Fine. And yeah, that was, it did make Halloween more fun though. It was like, and like every parent was doing it. So, I feel like because no one's driving, right? Everyone's just walking around the neighborhood. It's a very communal thing. People were sharing things. Everyone had like, the only thing that was the meme that everyone was sharing was that everyone has a stupid Yeti tumbler.
Right.
Like everyone's like, what's in your Yeti tumbler? What's in your Yeti tumbler? Yes, I did. Like, what's in your Yeti tumbler?
Stanley Cup, so out. Yeti tumbler in.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Everyone just has their, and like, it's very obvious. Like, you walk by.
Are they like the wine tumbler?
People had wine tumblers, people had beer tumblers. Everyone's just walking around with a Yeti tumbler. And you're like, there's alcohol of some sort in everyone's tumbler as they wander the neighborhood, like trick-or-treating with their kids.
It was a Friday.
It was a Friday,
At
right.
6 o'clock.
And then
fine.
every single pizzeria in the entire like metro area was delayed by hours because every single person went home and ordered
Made
pizza.
that mistake before.
We did. We did. One of our pizza orders got like canceled. We had to order from a different pizza place. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's still fun. It was still fun. Cool. So Zach, you're going to set us up for our topic today.
Yeah, so I wanted to mention a piece, even though this isn't, the What Have We Been Reading part of the podcast or the episode that we do that. There was a piece on the site recently by Liz Preventure about basically I'm going to call it personal. I'm going to give a little personal editorial on this one. Like the scourge of Psalm social media, which is the like persistent static or video of like all the bottles they opened, or maybe actually not all the bottles they opened, just the ones they want to put on social media. And, in the piece, Liz talks to a number of people who do this or are privy to it and kind of gets into this question of like, is this actually a good thing? What are Psalms and wine directors and the like trying to get out of this? And I think maybe a question that I have and want to discuss is, are they getting what they think they're getting out of it? But, I obviously I have a take here. I will get it off in a moment. But, for the two of you who, I think consume this, have only ever, I think, consumed this on the audience side, candidly, have I posted bottles of things I opened when I was a Psalm? Yes. I think if you go back in my Instagram history, you'll probably find some of that stuff. I've been afraid to go look, but I don't know. Like, what do the two of you think, and kind of where do you stand on this, I guess, practice?
Please.
I guess I see both sides of it. I understand how it can come off as pretentious and obnoxious depending on the bottles that you're posting, right? If it's only the most coveted, most expensive, most exclusive bottles, then yeah, that's just kind of annoying. But if it is truly to demonstrate the breadth of the wine that you have at your restaurant, which is what the claim is for some of these operators, right? Like Liz talked to, I can't remember his name, at Lay. And the whole idea is that they have this like global wine selection, and it's big and it's rotating and it's hard to capture it at any one time. So posting all the bottles that were sold in a night is a way to demonstrate to an audience of people who are potential guests of the restaurant to demonstrate to them that, these are some of the bottles that we have here, and this is what you can expect when you come to this restaurant. So I get that side of it. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm not somebody with like very strong wine opinions because we have a lot of those at VinePair.
Oh, really?
No, not. And yeah, so it doesn't bother me.
I have
Adam, what do you think?
Here's my thoughts. Okay. Because I've thought a bunch about this recently, and I appreciated the piece. And I remember when we started talking about it in an editorial meeting, I was like very opinionated on this. I think I've come around a little bit. So
you were against it, like this was.
So on the one hand, so I was like, this is gauche.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's tacky
to do it.
Like, so on the one hand, I've thought a little bit more. Everyone's on social.
Yeah.
My biggest question is like, what else do we expect these places to post? Every wine in a glass looks the same.
Yep.
Right.
So that, if I'm going to be true to my argument, which is I want more wine bars and less wine bars that are posing as wine bars but are restaurants, well, then I don't want you posting your food because then you're a restaurant, right? So like, I want you posting wine and making it look fun. So you need to post something. And I had this conversation with, I think it was you, Joanna, but also Hannah maybe, about like the places that would post like we are opening this for one night only. Like we have a bunch of pours.
Special pours, yeah.
Yeah. And like that to me doesn't work because that's really in the moment, right? It's like, well, this is being open just for tonight. And like, I know a lot of wine bars that used to do that. Like we're opening this by the glass for this much until it sells out type thing, right?
Yeah.
And
how feasible is it for any person to be like, oh, I got to get into that place tonight? Like,
so for that regard, I understand it. My issue with all of these places, and them doing it and why I think, so then I was like, well, then why didn't I like it? Mm-hmm. Okay. And my issue with it isn't just because it can be gauche. Mm-hmm. My other issue is that it's incredibly unintentionally gatekeepy elitist.
Right.
And what I mean by that is I started thinking about the other things that I follow that are luxury. And you guys all know what I'm going to say, so whatever, but it's watches, okay? Because I'm trying to learn.
Yeah. About watches.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when these influencers and dealers, et cetera, post, they explain.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Here is why this is coveted. Here is why everyone wants a Pepsi dial Rolex. They don't just post a Pepsi dial Rolex. They talk about it.
Like, here's the flex.
They talked. This one guy that I follow, Mike Nouveau, posted this $40,000 Movado. And he's like, most people would say this is a mall brand. Why did you pay? Like, let's talk about why this one was $40,000.
Yeah.
And he talks to this dealer about how this was made, in the 1950s when Movado was basically as good or better than Patek Philippe. Mm-hmm. It's better movements. It's better watch face. Like, they explain. They don't just post it like a flex. And my issue with a lot of these wine bars is it's just a line at the end of the night with no fucking explanation unless you know. And I don't think that brings anyone else into wine. And I get that you got to go there, et cetera. But like, why would I go there if I don't know why this is cool? Why would I go there if I don't know why I should care about these wines? And I think wine bars could do a much better job. I feel like that's the problem with social is like, we have this knee-jerk reaction that we have to be on and we have to post. And that's the first 2 points. Yes, you have to be on social at this point in time, unless you just purely decide not to. And you have to post once you're on social. But I think there's a third step that everyone misses. Like, you have to give context and explain. And there's so much of the first 2 and almost none of the third. And that's why I don't like the practice. That's my main issue that I put in terms of why I don't like it.
Adam, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Okay, well, then I'm going to disagree with both of you. Because I just think that unless you have a dedicated marketing person or social media person, I think it's asking a lot of a wine bar to also be like somehow an online
don't have to be
influencer wine educator.
Then don't market that way because then don't tell me that this is marketing.
Yeah.
Don't sit there in a piece and say that this is how you're marketing your bar and then not do the third most important step.
Yeah.
Then just admit what it is, which is flex.
Yeah.
But also, like, Joanna, I think it's not unreasonable to expect that, at the end of a night or at some point in service or after or whatever, your wine director, your head som, whomever could pick a bottle that was open that night and say, here's why this bottle is special to us. Here's how these people at the bar tonight enjoyed it. Here's what I like about it. Here's what's exciting about it. Because I think, you mentioned a lot of things there, Adam, that as I said, I really agreed with. And I think 2 of them are particularly important to note here. One is there is something that's very kind of, as you said, kind of alienating about the pan of a bunch of open bottles. And it goes in kind of 2 different directions. Either, because often when you see these, and in some places more than others, it's a bunch of very expensive wines, maybe very recognizable, but it's, Grand Cru Burgundy, it's First Growth Bordeaux, it's all this kind of stuff. And you're like, I mean, to me, it's not really any different than, someone being like, here's a big stack of money that I made tonight. Like, fine, that's cool, but like, how is this getting people excited about coming in? Unless maybe there are already people with a shitload of money who want to spend it on wine, then they probably already know you exist. Second of all, if it's a bunch of, like, you mentioned Lay, and like I've looked at some of their stuff, and like, I mean, look, I am not as looped into some of the world of wine that they're in as they are, and people maybe who frequent there are, but like, it's a lot of labels that I barely recognize, and I'm comfortable with that as a professional at this point. But like, I think for a lot of people, if it's just a pan of a lot of esoteric European wines mostly that are not easily recognizable, and there's no context provided, there's no, hey, this is why we really are excited about showing off this bottle. It's really hard for people to connect to it because I think, again, you just go like, you're going to feel at sea. I think that's a very common feeling for people with wine in general.
Yeah.
And stuff like this, I think, just really reinforces it. Again, I would question anyone who says that they're doing this and saying it's a form of marketing to really, I would push back hard on saying like, you're going to have to prove to me that this is actually bringing people through the door, that people who would not come into your wine bar or restaurant already are looking at what you're putting on social and saying, I got to go there. And I think if they are, it's probably almost exclusively because maybe you have wine that they really want to try that's very hard to find. And maybe having that posted brings in a few people who are like, I got to go to this spot because they've got, whatever, this wine that I'm desperate to try. But I don't think that's very many people. And I think more often than not, it's a real bad habit of sommeliers and wine types to get fixated on showing off, whether it's the wine they've drank or the wine they've served, and not really talk to the kind of person they're trying to bring through the door about why any of this shit matters. Because fundamentally, it's just a bunch of, it's a bunch of glass recycling that you're putting on your social media. So if you can't explain why what was in the bottle mattered, again, you're just showing off your garbage.
And look, I think the way this is able to exist in a place like New York is remember, we're a city of 8 million people, right? Yeah. There's a lot of people in this city that are obsessed with wine. So there's enough of those people to service a lot of the places that do this.
Yeah.
Right? To frequent them and to be in the bubble at the appropriate time where they might recognize a lot of the labels that are open, right? I mean, and again, I think this goes back to my point from a few episodes ago. I don't even remember then when I talked about bar crawls, but there's not a lot of them, right? There's one in every neighborhood, maybe two.
These types
right?
of places.
Yeah, you think about the East Village as a concept, right? Maybe there's 2 really good wine bars in the East Village. Maybe there's 2 or 3 in the Lower East Side. Mm-hmm. Maybe. It's not like there's 8, 9, 10 like there are really good cocktail bars.
Yeah.
They're still few and far between. So you have enough of an audience that will look at this. What my argument is but it doesn't make the audience bigger.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that when you said that, Zach, it makes a lot of sense. The people who are planning to go to Lay, who have been to Lay, they know that already. So whatever's posted online by the Somm team, maybe it makes them want to go there even more, but it doesn't necessarily get my brother and sister-in-law to want to go there like that. Maybe the short rib, pictures of the short rib will, in the food, which to your point,
then you're a
restaurant, which Lay is. But yeah, I agree with you. I think that it is kind of pandering to your audience already.
And here's the deal. Lay's awesome. I don't want to pick on them.
Yeah, no.
We're just using them as an example.
Yeah.
But and I also think that this is a behavior that everyone does. So it's why would you do it the other way? Because every other kind of cool at the moment sort of
you mean everyone's doing it, so you should do it too.
They're kind of all, none of them are taking the third step.
Right.
And so I think no one is maybe no one said hey, maybe you should try this. I think there is also this belief, we're packed. So maybe this is working. There's also no way to really test if this is working unless you're really talking to the customer and the customer is saying to you, oh, well, I'm here because I don't know, I read about this wine you posted and you explained what it was and I wanted to come in and try it.
Yeah.
If you're not doing that, then if someone says, oh yeah, I saw your bottle on it, but came in, you think it's working even though that person's they're already in the know, right? Yeah. You don't know if you're bringing anyone new in because they're not telling you they're new in the first place. No one's going to admit they're a noob, So the only way you would know is if they're saying, well, no, I read about this producer, I'd never heard of them before and I came in, because it sounded really cool. You made it sound really interesting. And look, again, I think wine shops do this a lot. I think wine shops are very good at, I got a really great email yesterday from Flatiron that was about this Greek producer I'd never heard of before. And they fully explained why she's interesting, why she's making really cool wines in Crete. And then I emailed a winemaker friend of mine in Crete and he was like, that's all bullshit. They're getting their story from their rep. Half of the story isn't real. Blah, blah, blah. But at least they were trying to tell the story, right? At least they were trying to sell the wine. And it intrigued me enough to ask my other winemaker friend who was like, fuck them. But I think that's all right. It's at least I think retail does a very good job.
It has to.
But I'm saying that wine bars should do a better job of doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. And I agree. And fundamentally, they should model the kind of experience you're going to have in the wine bar on social. And if the only experience you're modeling is, yeah, we opened a bottle for you, who fucking cares? Fundamentally, I would much rather see from a wine bar or a restaurant some little, kind of hint of what service looks like. That's why the food pics move people because they're I want to eat that. And I think people would be a little bit more moved by an interaction or at least a sort of look inside what sitting at a table or at the bar at one of these spots is when you say I don't know what I want to drink, recommend something or what do you have open or what do you like or any of those questions you can ask to get some sort of response from the sommelier or bartender or wine director or whomever. if you can model that in social and say like, here's how we talk about these wines. Here's why we care about them. Here's what matters. Again, it's like a thing that we all know very, very intimately. Like all of us love wine and there are lots of things we love about wine. And there are endless things you can say about any of those bottles that you're posting on social media. But if you say nothing about them, you are in a way actually really kind of devaluing them, in my opinion. And you're certainly not giving people some idea of what experience they can anticipate having. And if that's not a thing that you can set yourself apart from, you are just another bottle shot picture on, my list of stories that I just kind of like skip over because I don't really care.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the way you could do this, right, is you post a bottle and you're like, we just popped. The only reason it's in my head is because you got a book today, but like we just popped this bottle of Ariane Occhipinti. She's an incredible producer from Sicily. We were able to score 2 cases and have 12 bottles left. Come in and try one. We think you'll love it. The couple that had it tonight was blown away or something, right? Like something like that, where it's like, here's what it is. Here's why we were excited to open it tonight. And by the way, we have 12 bottles left of it or something, right? We don't play, maybe we won't get it again if you can't get it again, or this will always be on the list because we love it so much and we are one of the only people in New York who has it or whatever. But like, again, I think the difference there with the open compared to closed bottle is you're saying to consumers, someone did buy this, they opened it, they tried it, right? Maybe you even have a picture of people drinking it. I don't fucking know. So you're not just saying like, here, we're trying to sell this thing that's unopened and trust us, right? Which again, human psychology is very weird, but I think the second you just show someone something was open, they believe, well, someone paid for that. They liked it, right? As opposed to you're trying to sell me something I don't know anything about. So you play with that sort of idea in their head, and then you explain how great it is, and then you make it sound like there's not many more left, and you hope they come in and try it. And that's a really great way. And then fine. And you know what? I'm okay. Your fee doesn't have to be all that. I'm okay with you I would ask some wine bars, do this every other post for me, and then do your bottle shot lineups. Fine, whatever. Like if you really have to show all the crazy shit you opened, fine. But at least try a little bit to do this too.
Or even like pan across the bottles you open and pick one up and talk about it. Like give me some context. Like please don't just post a static image or a video with zero said about the wines besides just here is some empty bottles. Like I can't get with that.
With good background music. Well, I have a question though. Do you think that the reason this happens is just because Psalms are so awkward that they don't want to get in front of the camera and do it?
They don't want to talk about the bottles?
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of us are awkward in front of the camera. I mean, I feel very comfortable in front of the camera, but like,
not the three of us are super
I don't think it's about awkwardness. I think it's a time thing. I think it's more just like it's so much faster to just like pan through.
You had the time. You could quickly be like, by the way, this bottle was bomb.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what
I think you have to say
the
a little
time
more
to find the perfect background music.
Yeah, you should say more than this bottle is bomb.
This bottle is dope bomb.
Oh, God. I think that like you don't have to have a whole script, right? This doesn't have to be something that's like an enormous production. I think, again, it's not unreasonable to it's not unreasonable to expect that like a sommelier or wine or bartender, whoever, whose job it is to interact with the public. And again, sidebar about whether like some of the people in those roles are actually good at customer service. Like that's a thing we've talked about before and I'm sure will again. But fundamentally, you should be able to relatively clearly communicate what makes a bottle interesting or special without necessarily diving down a rabbit hole of technical details or like esoterica, and just like communicate to people, again, in the same way you would if they came through the door of your bar or restaurant, why this wine is exciting. And it just, again, if you can't do that, I don't know, maybe you're not doing the job that you're best at.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of ways to do it, right? You can do the video, you can just do the picture of the bottle and then still do your bottle lineups, whatever you want, but single one out and post about it and write about it. But yeah, I think to bring it full circle, I understand why it's done. I think, Joanna, you understand why it's done. I think Zach understands why it's done.
Yeah.
I understand the need to market yourself. I do think the reason we all find it somewhat off-putting is because no other information's being given.
Yeah.
It feels like you're just showing off that you're flashing stacks of cash. And that is where it's like, I don't know, like is that a place I feel comfortable going to drink? Do I feel too intimidated that I don't know? Do I want to go there? And I get very nervous about that as much as we continue to talk about why people aren't drinking wine or why they're drinking wine less.
Can I ask you guys both a question?
Yeah.
So when you post bottles now, pictures of bottles now, why do you do that?
I'm showing off and I'm only posting the ones I know people know. Just so you know, it's either that and I want the reactions and I'm like, ooh, these people get on my level. But I'm also posting, okay, I'm going to be very, so I get it.
Yeah.
I'm admitting that I'm just as guilty of it.
Yeah.
100%.
This is why I asked.
But also, none of us are operating a wine bar. Like,
if I sat here and looked at you straight in the fucking face and said, I'm doing it for education. No, I'm fucking showing off because that's human nature. We're peacock. We all peacock. Mm-hmm. Some of us more than others.
Some of us more than others.
Yeah. This is why Naomi doesn't listen to the podcast. and then, and hates the clips now. But I do also do it sometimes when it's an obscure bottle because I'm curious if anyone else knows it. Or like I do it when I travel because I'm trying to remember. Mm-hmm. And I keep a record of my Instagram and I save all those photos. And like for me, it's like almost like a diary. This is why I do think things like Delectable failed though, because Delectable, as opposed to Vivino, Delectable was like the other app. It was much more of like a show off app.
Okay.
And I think the reason it failed is like a lot of people just like were like sick of watching like 10 of the bro soms all show off their like bottles of Grand Cru Burgundy every night. And we're just like, got really gross and really like elitist very quickly, you know, but no, I 100% do it to show off. Come on.
Mm-hmm. I also think there's a little bit of a difference between showing off a bottle you yourself consumed versus something you just sold to someone. Like, again, none of us are operating a wine bar, so I don't feel like I have the same set of, you know, I'm not trying to necessarily get a bunch of people to come to my house and drink wine with me. I mean, I like it when people do that, but, you know, that's not really what I'm posting on social media for. But again, I think it's important to differentiate when you're posting something that you yourself experienced, you know, whether you know, had it at a restaurant, drank it at home, etc., versus, you know, if you're a place, you know, you're selling wine, it's a little different to be like, well, here's what other people had. Again, if you do that in a way that brings people in, I think that's fine. The last piece I will say is like, as to kind of Adam's peacocking point, like candidly, like all of us are, you know, in media, we have, you know, a persona of sorts. And I think there's like an obligation, but there's some pressure to be like, yes, I'm actively doing this thing that I'm talking about. I mean, why do we talk about what we've been drinking? It's not just to fill time on the podcast. It's also because like we want you, the listener, you, the viewer, to know that we are actually out drinking because we are. And it gives some, hopefully, credence to what we're talking about to know that we are interacting with this thing that we spend, you know, a couple of episodes a week talking about.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, we're going to keep this going now, but I don't know why this feels different to me.
I think that it is different ultimately, but I think the impulse is the same.
Yes, I agree with you. I do agree with you.
Yeah.
I think the difference, right? I think we're probably going to say the same thing as like, there's something that feels like I bought this, so I'm sharing this, as opposed to I sold this. I don't know why that feels different because it's doing the same thing, right? Like the I bought this is like, bitch, I could afford this. Like, you know, and the I sold this is like, I'm good at my job.
You're good at your job.
So I get it. It's the same. There's just something weird about it. And I think the other thing that's different is like, unless you are your entire life is just peacocking your wine. Like you follow me, right, Joanne? Do you follow me?
I think so. I might have you muted. I don't know.
Yeah. How often do I share bottles that I drink?
Not often.
Yeah.
Never.
I mean, Zach's
annoyingly to me because I have to
like,
write the episode descriptions and figure out what the hell like random wine you were talking about was.
So like, I think that's also why this is more off-putting. Is a wine bar, that's all they have to share. So then when that's all it is like the sort of peacocked bottles, that becomes a lot. But the other thing I would say is like, I also don't have a problem. I don't know how Zach falls on this, but I don't have a problem with like, let's say you and I went to dinner and we took a picture. We bought a cool bottle. We took a picture and we tagged the wine bar and they re-gram it. Right. I actually have no problem with that. I'm like, a customer bought this, re-grammed it. I've got no problem. If you want to add a little context, cool. But like, actually, that's also a great thing, right? Like that shows you sold a super amazing bottle that's on your list, but they're the one that chose to share it first.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird how we're getting into all the human psychology of like what bothers us and what doesn't. And this isn't therapy, so we don't need to keep digging in. But I think it is it's an interesting conversation. I'm curious what the listeners think. You know, hit us up at podcast@vinepair.com. Like, does any of this bother you? Does none of this bother you?
Yeah, is it compelling when you see a wine bar or restaurant do this? Like, does it make you want to go in more, or are you totally put off by it?
Right. I'm really curious because I think there's just certain human behaviors that some of us find acceptable, some of us don't. Others really like, others don't. You know, and maybe this is something that like myself and Zach aren't totally about. That other people are like, this doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
And I think that's also fine. So let us know what you think. Before we go, what's your martini spec, Joanna?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I think I'm like fine 2-1.
2-1.
2-1.
Zach?
If I'm out, I always order a 4-1. I feel like it's the safest kind of number for me.
3-1.
3-1.
Well, let us know your martini spec too. Hit us up at podcast@vinepair.com. And tune in on Wednesday in the Cocktail College feed. You will hear a preview of the build out. And then we'll be launching that full episode later, and you'll get a preview here too. But yeah, thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you both on Thursday.
Have a great week.
Sounds great.
Thanks so much for listening to the VinePair podcast, the flagship podcast of the VinePair Podcast Network. If you love this podcast, please leave us a rating or review wherever it is that you are currently listening to it on. It really helps other people discover the show. Also, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your colleagues. Basically, tell anyone about the VinePair podcast. It's always very appreciated, especially by Joanna. The podcast is hosted by myself, Adam Teeter, our editor-in-chief, Joanna Sciarrino, and Zach Jabal, former sommelier from Seattle, Washington. As we all know, it is edited by Darby Seaside. Theme music also by Darby Seaside. Art for the podcast by Daniel Grinberg. VinePair was co-founded by myself and Josh Mallon. Thanks so much again for listening, and we will see you again the next time you listen to an episode. If you made it all the way through these credits, I again consider you a super fan.